Hello, everyone. We are live. Welcome to the first episode of the Overdose Peak Season Power Series. My name is Amanda. I am the Client Success Lead for the Overdose Auckland crew, and we also have the lovely Lauren here. Do you want to intro yourself, Lauren?
Sure, thanks, Amanda. So for those online who don't know me, I'm Lauren. I'm the marketing automation lead here at Overdose. So I work across all things automation and retention, email, SMS, loyalty. I'm pretty excited to dive into peak season with you all.
Cool. So we are here for the first session of the Peak Season Power Series. We've carefully designed this 6-part series for those who are looking to elevate their peak season game. I can't believe it's already September. November is creeping up so quickly, so it's the perfect time to start preparing for the biggest sale period of the year. In each episode, we're here to share functional and actionable insights, and we encourage your curiosity. So any questions you might have, please pop them in the chat and we will answer them throughout this session. So today, Lauren and I are going to be chatting about email cut-through. As we approach, obviously, one of the most anticipated shopping events of the year, businesses are gearing up to capture the attention of eager customers. In a crowded digital landscape where inboxes are obviously inundated with promotional emails, the challenge isn't about sending messages, it's about cutting through the noise and delivering content that truly resonates with your customers. And obviously, as you can see here, there was a whopping 1.83 billion emails sent through Black Friday in 2023. It's probably only going to get more than that in 2024.
Yeah, definitely.
So, moving on. Today, we're going to explore the critical strategies for achieving email cut-through during peak shopping periods. Myself, working in the client success space, I work with brands all the time that give me these common questions. And Lauren in the marketing space is obviously going to give us some hot takes and tips to add into your strategy. So today we're going to chat through some key talking points, such as how do we land in the inbox and not the dreaded spam? That's a common one. Should we segment or should we send to all of our database? How do we stand out in a very saturated inbox? The perfect campaign calendar, what you should send, when, why, all that good stuff, and how to nail your SMS strategy. And then finally, we will give you a succinct timeline for your email planning, what you should do now, during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and after. So, Lauren, I reckon we should kick into it and head to our first question. How should you be preparing your database in the lead up to Black Friday, Cyber Monday? I'll pass over to you.
Beauty. So definitely around this time of year, the biggest thing that I would suggest is looking at your database, its cleanliness and its deliverability metrics. What we want is to go into Black Friday, Cyber Monday with the healthiest deliverability score we can. And to do that, there's a couple of things. So firstly, around September, October, going through and doing a big purge of your list. So we recommend suppressing any contacts who haven't engaged with your emails in at least over 6 months. Like if you're a little bit hesitant about 6 months, at minimum 12 months. But what we want is a pretty clean slate to get rid of anyone who's done and dusted. We're not going to be winning them back, and just to keep them off the list, because we don't want to be emailing them during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and just risking a poor deliverability score. The next piece is to look at your deliverability benchmarks. So I've got these on the right-hand side here. What I recommend is going into your account and measuring these up to see how you're performing. If you're performing lower than any of these scores, then it's probably an indicator that you need to go through and do a bit of an investigation to understand why your scores aren't up to scratch, and then what you can do in order to improve them. One thing that I always recommend to clients who are facing a deliverability challenge is simply to go back to the basics and just emailing your engaged subscribers more frequently than your unengaged subscribers. It's really just like as simple as that. So the whole thing around this period is just making sure that you're getting those deliverability scores up and prioritizing that over emailing people who might not be ready or might not be engaging with those emails.
Is there anything that brands can do to try and re-engage those inactive users prior to Black Friday, Cyber Monday?
Yeah, definitely. So they can push them across to performance ads. So platforms like Meta, Pinterest, TikTok for retargeting. You can do retargeting forms on your website as well. So if you've got a platform like Klaviyo, you can create special like segments that you're going to target and retarget to customers through pop-ups and stuff like that. If you do want to run like a traditional win back campaign, you can. The way I would recommend doing it though is instead of having like a one-off email that you send as a win back, it might be like 30,000 people who are unengaged. Instead of just sending off that one email, break it up into smaller chunks. So you might break up your list into groups of like 25% and emailing those once a week. So you can still run the win back, but just don't do it in one big go because that's just going to tank your deliverability. You kind of want to pepper it throughout that month of September. And then for October, just go back to emailing engaged because you want to use October to really bolster that deliverability score. And then the next piece that I would recommend customers or clients to think about is starting to gradually increase your send volume. So what I see a lot of brands doing is throughout January to October, they have a pretty standard or pretty like similar send volume. And then in November, they just go ham and they will triple their email volume. The problem with that is those sudden spikes in email volume trigger spam filters in inbox providers like Gmail, Yahoo, that kind of stuff. So it's really important for that September-October period to start gradually increasing your send volume. So if you think that you're going to be doubling your send volume by the time it comes to November, try to aim for a 25% increase in September, 50% increase in October. And then once it gets to November, you've kind of primed those email inbox providers to know that your volume is increasing. And you're just going to have more better luck landing in the inbox rather than going to spam.
Amazing. All right, let's go to the next question. What kind of segmentation should brands be utilizing across Black Friday, Cyber Monday? What do you think?
So it really depends on the strategy you want to go with and kind of like the email cadence. But as a blanket term, what I recommend for brands is to have your key segments ready because this will give you a good base to work from. So looking at your VIPs, so whether you might have like a VIP tier in place or you might just calculate VIPs based on customer lifetime value. So taking that top quadrant of customers, but siphoning those off. If you're running an early access campaign, making sure that you're segmenting out those early access subscribers. Anyone who's on loyalty, so this is sort of just like blanket loyalty. If you've got tiers within that loyalty program, you can split it out further, but just making sure you've got something for your loyalty group. And then you've got your standard engaged segments, so your 30, 60, 90 days. These will kind of fall into the bulk of emails that you send out, but it's really important that you're using those. You can email your entire list throughout the Black Friday, Cyber Monday period. We will say, yes, you can, but it's really important that you sort of marry that with sending to those engaged groups at this to sort of counteract any negative benefits. Last couple are looking at your lapsing customers as well as your SMS subscribers. So that's kind of like your base. And then on top of that, if you want to go a little bit further, you can start looking at things like sale-only customers. So anyone who has purchased a product at discount and has only ever purchased products with discounts. Anyone who was a Black Friday, Cyber Monday purchaser for last year or the year before. And then the last one is what we call an espresso shot segment. So this is really handy for when you're sending last minute announcements. Say you send out an email in the morning and it's a deal a day campaign. You send it out to your 90-day engaged group. And then in the afternoon, you want to remind everyone you want to send out a reminder that deal a day offer is closing. So you might take what's called the espresso shot segment. You look at anyone who's opened or clicked on that first email, and then you send them that reminder. So the idea is you're reminding or of reaching out to the people that have engaged and are more likely to purchase, and sort of letting the people that didn't engage, just let them be, rather than just spamming everyone. The other thing that I would recommend starting to think about and having a chat with your marketing team is how you can actually use your data that's in your email platform to improve or to help improve the performance of your performance ads. So things like your meta ads, Meta, Facebook, TikTok, Pinterest, all of that, pushing your audience data from Klaviyo or .digital, whatever you're on, across to those channels. So some of the key setups that we recommend are like retargeting campaigns for abandoned carts. So anyone that's in that sort of window shopping kind of phase, pushing them back to the website so you can recapture those lost sales. You can create custom lookalike audiences using those high value customers, your high CLTV customers, to just find better quality leads. And then you can also get in front of customers earlier who are more likely to purchase, or those who are approaching their next purchase date. So using predictive analytics like predicted date of next purchase is a really good one as well. So you can see on the right how, depending on where that customer sits in your funnel or in your life cycle funnel, kind of relates to a different type of remarketing or branding ad that you can show them on performance ads.
Amazing. Now, what kind of messages do you think you should be sending throughout Black Friday, Cyber Monday?
So I like to think of Black Friday, Cyber Monday as broken up into 3 periods. So you have, and each is equally important, I argue. First is that building the hype. So this is all pre-Black Friday, Cyber Monday. It's during that October, November period. This is really important because A, a lot more people are doing this now, and B, people kind of want to get prepared. Like, people are more likely to shop now during a sale period than they were previous. People know what they want, and they're starting to create like lists so that they're ready and organized for Black Friday. So this hype period is really important to your sales success. The kind of emails that you can send out, or even SMS during this period, are things like general sale or teasers, so announcements just to outline what you're going to be offering, when it's going to be running, and then also if they can sign up for this early. So if you're doing an early access piece, making sure that you get those types of comms out during this period. I would recommend starting this between 2 weeks and 1 month before your sales. 2 weeks is a little bit short, but not everyone's super organized. So that sort of time period's ideal. Other things you can start releasing then are gift guides as well. So a lot of people are going to be gift shopping during this time period. So making sure that it's really simple for people to understand what kind of gifts are available and how they can purchase them. The next piece is that sale period. So when the sale's actually live. So the kind of stuff that you have then are obviously your sale announcements and your final reminders. So I like to think of these as bookends of whatever sale period you have, like when it starts and when it ends. You've got those espresso shot segments. So like I mentioned before, if you're sending out one email and then you want to send out a reminder, using that espresso shot segment so that you're not emailing people who are really didn't engage with the first one, but you're leaning into the people that are more likely to engage. Other kind of filler content that you can incorporate in this period are things like staff picks, bestsellers, dealer day works really well. You want to kind of have enough content that you're keeping people engaged and that it's different every time, but you're still relating back to that original sale message. So you don't want to be saying every single day, sales live, sales live. People become immune to that. You want to find a little bit more creative ways to incorporate that sale messaging and making it a little bit more interesting so that people just don't tune out completely. Then the last period is the cleanup. So this is often forgotten about, and I think it's arguably just as important as the building hype. This is about repairing any damage to your sender reputation that might have occurred during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but also converting those new customers to repeat buyers. So you've probably captured a whole heap of new customers during this period. It's really important in this post-sale period to nurture them to that second purchase. So it's not just a waste of quite expensive ad spend to get those leads in the first place. Obviously, Christmas is coming up as well. So thinking about those gift guides again, holiday shipping reminders, and even fun campaigns like 12 Days of Christmas. These work really well. Again, it goes back to that thing of you've got this, how do you repeat the fact that Christmas is coming up without being boring, but adding enough spice that people are still engaged with your emails day to day. So that's kind of like the 3 pillars that I would suggest thinking about.
And how far in advance would you suggest, brands are preparing for this?
I would start now. It really depends on as much effort, the amount of effort that you put in will correlate to what you get out of it. If you're only going to dedicate a really small amount of time and you just want to do maybe 2 emails for the sale period, that's fine. But you're probably not going to see the success like brands like LSKD, who I guarantee would have started planning for this way back in April. And if you look at their flow setup or their email setup, there's so many emails going out. They've structured it so well with their sales and stuff. So if you want to do a really good Black Friday, Cyber Monday period, I would start prioritizing it now for sure. And then just to give you guys an idea of what does a Black Friday, Cyber Monday calendar look like, I've put this one together. It's only 4 weeks, mainly because it can only fit on one slide. But it does give you an idea of what you can do in those weeks leading up to it and the weeks afterwards. So say at the start of this period, we'll have that holiday opt-out message. This is where you can start using those full lists. So anytime that I've got an orange little square, a pink square, that's sending out to my full list. The rest are smaller segments. So you can see I've got a few in there. It's not making up the bulk, but I am emailing, but I'm sort of marrying it with my engaged subscribers to help with that deliverability. So you might have that opt-out message. You then follow up with a weekly newsletter going out to your 60-day engaged group. You might offer early access registration on the Friday. Following that, you might have another weekly newsletter. You might send out a gift guide on the Thursday to your full list. The weekend before, you might do something like free shipping weekend. So something to build a little bit of hype, but it's not really detracting from the fact that you've got, this massive sale coming up. So just a little offer. You might send out a notice of that on the Friday to your 60-day engage, and then a reminder of the ending to that same group. On the 26th, you might launch a bit of a teaser. So pre-cyber weekend teaser. You then might go on the Wednesday, launch the VIP teaser. So if you're doing a VIP only promotion, you can send out that around this time so people can get an understanding of what they're in for, how to access it, when it's going live, all that information. Thursday, say that you did do the early access or you are doing VIP, that might go live the day before. You let everyone know. On the Friday, this is when your proper sale starts. So you do your full list announcement, let everyone know that the cyber weekend has started. Then between that starting and it ending, you have these sort of filler day emails. So you might do a deal of the day. One day you might do a order in a free gift campaign, something like that. Send out a staff picks email. You might have bestsellers, whatever you want in those in-between ones. It's really about reiterating the fact that the sale is on, but in a way that's a little bit interesting and different each time. Lastly, you have your sale closing. So again, this is going out to your full list. So those bookend segments or those bookend campaigns. And then following that, you go into that holiday promotion. So sending out your holiday dates and shipping reminders. You might send a couple more gift guides, that kind of stuff. So there's quite a few emails in here. This kind of setup I would recommend for clients who are sending at the moment between 2 and 3 emails a week. Obviously, if you do send more, if you do send less, but you would like to achieve this, that by all means you can. It's just about making sure that you increase your volume over the next couple of months so that you're ready to hit this volume come November. The last little bit is on updating your flows. So a lot of people tend to push their focus on the campaign side of things, but they forget that there's these flows that are operating in the background that are arguably just as important. So a couple of things that I would recommend is with those high converting flows, your welcome series, your abandoned cart, abandoned browse, going through and updating the content to make sure that it's referencing your Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales. So you can either update the content manually a week before, like the day before the sale goes live, or you can duplicate the campaigns, update all the content, and then you're just switching them off and on the sale date. So swapping over subject lines, you can add in like a banner or a header into the actual email body. So that references the Black Friday, Cyber Monday with a link that goes back to your landing page or anything like that. You can also reduce the wait time. So for things like your abandoned cart, where it's a high intent flow, there's going to be a lot going on Black Friday, Cyber Monday. There's a lot of competitiveness. You can decrease the wait time so that you have that sense of urgency and you're winning people over quicker. The other kind of flows that you can think about adding if you do want to make sure that your suite is really set up well for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, things like abandoned site flow. So this sits before the abandoned browse. Essentially, if someone goes onto the site and leaves, triggers an email. Price drop is really good, and low inventory is also really important. Klaviyo's just released this as a standard flow. You don't need, if you like on Shopify, you don't need any additional plugins. So you can trigger this when stock gets to a low amount. It's a really good one, particularly for SMS as well.
Amazing. We'll go to the next question. So yeah, obviously going into Black Friday, Cyber Monday, inboxes are going to be pretty saturated with lots of emails being sent. So what can our brands do to stand out in the inbox and really make their offers pop?
Yeah, so the first one is making sure that your emails have a higher likelihood of being opened. So sending at your optimal send time is the first best way. So if you don't know what your optimal send time is, now is the time to go through and test. So you can either like run a series of tests of emails to see what has the highest open rate throughout the week, or you can, if you're on Klaviyo, you can use the smart send time feature. This usually takes about 2 to 3 weeks to run because you've got to send a certain number of emails, and it takes a while for Klaviyo to capture the data and analyze it correctly, but it'll spit out a time range of when you should be sending your emails for optimal opens and clicks. So once you know that, that's awesome. The next piece is during that Black Friday, Cyber Monday period, try sending just slightly after the hour to place yourself on top of the pile. So if your optimal send time is 3 p.m., try sending at 3:08, because this just means that everyone else who sent at 3 o'clock, they'll all be down below and you'll come up on top when it comes to the feed. So just like a little tip.
I love that last one. I literally always see so many emails come through at 8 a.m., but why not send it at 8:03? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, I'm not scrolling down. It has to be in the top 3, or I'll completely ignore it. The last little bit is on the standing out in the inbox. So this is a feature just for Gmail promotions. So that little promotions tab on Gmail. But it's a nice way just to increase your real estate in the inbox. So it's a little bit of it's a bit fiddly to set up the first time, but it does work really well in terms of improving your opens and click-through rates. Essentially, it's called Gmail annotations. You've got 3 different types. The first one is deal and offer. This is the one at the top. It's just showcases that you might have a sale on. If you have a code that they can use, highlighting that as well. The next one is a product carousel. So this works really well if you want to show a suite of maybe like your best sellers and showcase the price and the sale price. And then the last one is the single image. So you can use this for like if you have just like a little, what's it called, like a snippet or card for your Black Friday, Cyber Monday, just like with the offer percentage. And you might be using this for your Facebook campaigns already, but just including that as that single image. Again, it's just about increasing your real estate so you attract the eye, people are more likely to click on your emails. The last bit is how you can make your emails once it's open to pop. So a couple of cool features that more and more of our clients are using are GIFs and countdown timers, both really good at adding an element of urgency when it comes to the countdown timer, but also movement so that you're attracting the eye. The only caveats with these two are being careful about how they load. So not all email providers are made equal. The emails may not load on all, like on Yahoo, the same as it would on Gmail. So it's really important to have placeholders or default images when you're including these when you're including these elements, so you don't get stuck with some weird piece that doesn't make sense and it kind of ruins the flow of the rest of your email. And then some over the pretty much like the best emails that I see during this time period, there's a couple of key elements that are consistent across all. One is they're usually short and punchy, so they're not overcrowded, really easy to understand what the offer is, how I can access it, and what to do next. They use high quality images, so that reflects the sale or the products. The offer is the focal point of the email. So as soon as I open up the email, I know straight away how much I'm getting off, how do I access it, what is it for, that kind of stuff. And then high contrast CTAs. So we're so we are so exposed to call to actions nowadays that it is almost a subconscious reaction that we look for them. It's really important that they're clearly outlined and that the call to action relates to what the email is about, because you want people to click on them and to perform that next step.
I was just going to say as well, I can imagine, most of the brands that we work with, they have a designer that is designing these email templates in or on desktop, but surely it must be so important to look at these from a mobile first lens, right?
Yeah, 100%. So it really varies from brand to brand, but most emails nowadays, up to like 70%, are opened on mobile device. So all emails, not just Black Friday, Cyber Monday, should be designed for mobile first. Definitely.
Cool. Next question, we're going to go into an SMS strategy.
Beautiful. So I'm seeing SMS become more popular each year. It still hasn't hit the level of usage that it does in the US, but it's becoming more and more popular for sure. It's really beneficial for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, because SMS works best for time-sensitive announcements. Anything that's to do with a sale, product going out of stock, product coming back into stock, anything that's like has an urgency behind it, SMS works really well. So incorporating it into Black Friday, Cyber Monday, if you're interested, will be really beneficial for you. A couple of key things are making sure that you're incorporating it into those high intent flows, so abandoned cart, welcome series, offering mobile only discounts or early access. So if you're getting someone to sign up for SMS, it's different to email. You kind of want to reward that in its own way. So creating exclusivity within the channel is really important. Prioritizing people who actually open or actually click on your SMSs over people who don't. I see a lot of brands say, I tried SMS, it didn't work. We spent so much money on it because it's quite expensive, and I just didn't see the results that I wanted. What I always say to that is SMS isn't going to be for everyone. It's really important to understand who actually clicks on your SMSs and prioritizing those people against people who don't. Just because someone's signed up to SMS, if they're not clicking on their your SMS, don't send it to them. It's not worth the cost.
Cool. Well, final wrap up. I think you're going to chat us through a bit of a succinct timeline for success with this checklist.
Yeah, so really quick, because I'm conscious of the time that people might have to jump off. But September, October, focus on auditing those accounts and flows. So looking at your acquisition, where people might be dropping off in flows, high unsubscribe rate, where you have poorer conversion values. Compare these against your benchmarks for the industry as well, so you know how you compare. Look at your deliverability results. If that needs attention, start actioning it now. Clean out your lists. If you want to use SMS, you need to start collecting SMS consent now, so that way you have a big enough pool come Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And then it's really important that you determine your email cadence now as well. If you want to be doing quite an involved strategy with a lot of emails, you want to start planning that out now so that your design team have the ability to actually build those emails. October, go through and test your flows. A/B test your sign-up forms, make sure your acquisition strategy and funnel paths are quite seamless and people aren't dropping out anywhere. And then focus on maintaining that healthy deliverability. So if you were doing any win back stuff in September, pause that. October's just about repair. Repair, pretty much just repair. And then execution November, December, make sure that you've swapped over your Black Friday, Cyber Monday messaging in your flows. Don't complicate your subject lines. Keep them really simple. Less is more. There's going to be so much happening in your inboxes. The clearer you can communicate your offer, the easier it is for people to understand if they want to open it or not. And then make sure your lists are clean. So get rid of all those dirty people that are in there that you don't need. And then Q&A.
Yeah, well, if you guys do have any burning questions for Lauren, who's obviously very much an expert in email and SMS, please send them through. Happy to answer any for you. Otherwise, yeah, we'll just wrap up for now. Well, yeah, thank you so much for joining us in this episode of the Overdose Peak Season Power Series. We hope that you have enjoyed it and learned something really valuable to add into your Black Friday, Cyber Monday strategy. We do have 5 more sessions to come for the series. We'd love to see you there. It's going to be the same time next week, Wednesday, in the Overdose account. You can join us next week for episode 2. We're going to have Shan and Sam talking to us about maximizing conversions. So we'll see you then. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Lauren. Have a lovely rest of your day.
Thanks, guys.